Hi everybody, it's Nicole from Baby to Sleep with our 12 Days of Christmas series. Elfie is here again joining us. You can't have a Christmas season without an elf. I'm joined today by Marion from Brush Baby, and this is one that I'm really excited about because we've used the Brush Baby product right from Sophia being a little baby, and it's a product I've always personally recommended for my clients and things. But I'm going to pass you over because I'm going to let Marion explain something a little bit about why it's so important to be actually looking after our little one's teeth, because I know personally how hard it is. But I think sometimes we forget the why behind why it's so important, especially with new teeth and the thing of, well, they fall out anyway. They're not their main teeth. So well, I'm going to pass you over and let Marion talk to you a little bit about it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's exactly how Nicole said. Basically, if you haven't got teeth, you can't speak, you can't smile, you can't eat, you can't laugh, and you can't talk and converse. And what we try to do at Brush Baby is to make it as easy as possible for mums, dads, caregivers to look after little one's teeth. They are important. One of the things that Nicole just said is quite true. Baby teeth do matter. They are the foundation for the next set of teeth that are coming through, and also they're the practice teeth. So as you teach the art of toothbrushing via teething toys, by you doing it, so that later on, when they progress to a bigger toothbrush, they're able to look after their teeth themselves. So it's all about getting into a routine. A lot of people panic about not being able to brush their kids' teeth, not being able to look after them. Don't panic. It's just literally doing it day by day, practicing, putting toothpaste into their mouths, letting it settle around the gums, using a teething product if necessary, using one of our little brushes. We have various sorts. We've got a chewable toothbrush that babies can chew on, a soft brush, which is a really soft bristled brush. Unfortunately, I haven't got anything with me today, and a first brush. So there's some options available for you, whichever suits your own personal requirement and obviously your baby's requirement. And we also do electric toothbrushes as well, the whole range from newborn right through to 10 years of age. So there's no excuses really.
None at all. But we all know it's not as simple as that, don't we? We all know that our strong-willed children, babies, toddlers, don't make it always that easy. So we're going to come back to some ideas on how we can actually help our little ones with brushing the teeth. But first off, I want to ask you a little bit about how Brush Baby came about, because it's one of those things that actually you don't know that something isn't there until you actually go and get help for it yourself and then find out that there is no help. And I think that's how Brush Baby came about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. The company was founded by a lady called Dominique Tillen, who's the sister of a dentist, funny enough. And she had her daughter Lulu nearly 18 years ago. And when she was, like most parents and caregivers, want to look after Lulu's oral health, she looked on the market to see exactly what there was available. And it was great big toothbrushes for a tiny little baby's mouth. Hard, large brush head, hard plastic edges, and the children's versions available at that time are probably little cut down brushes, probably half the size version and maybe a smaller head, but not often in many cases. And her daughter, every time she used the toothbrush, and used to chew the toothbrush. So she thought, this is crackers, because she's gripping onto the toothbrush. I can't get it into her mouth. It's far too big. Let me look around. And there was still nothing available. And so she actually decided to invent and design her own. So in conjunction with her twin sister, who's a dentist, they came up with the first toothbrush in the range, which was called a chewable toothbrush made from silicone. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. So basically, the child chews on the toothbrush and it cleans their teeth. So you're actually cleaning and brushing at the same time. And it's also great as a teething aid. So it's very soft medical grade silicone. There's tiny little silicone bristles on there. And then you either put a smear of toothpaste or smear of teething gel on there and just let baby chew. And the way that the toothbrush is designed, that whilst they're chewing, it's cleaning the top and bottom gums and emerging teeth at the same time. You can put it in the fridge so it cools it down. It's got a little hook on it, so you can tie it to their outfit or to a buggy, and people just raved over it. It looks unusual. It is unusual, but it works because it's designed for a baby. And so that's how she started, because she had her own need for her own daughter. And like most things with somebody that has a requirement and they produce a solution, it works. And so that's how she first started with the chewable toothbrush. And it's really developed since then. So it goes from wipes looking after baby gums through to teething products. We've got a molar munch, a fronties, a cool and calm, the traditional looking tooth teethers. And then it goes into the brushes that have got the smaller brush head, that have got a longer handle so as the parent can get in, and also the child can grip it. We have a chunky, I think it's probably the only electric toothbrush in the market for babies, called the Baby Sonic, which is a chunky grip handle for the for the parent and the baby to use, with a sucker bottom so it sticks onto the sink and the bath, and a weeny little brush head, which is just right for the little teeth and the gums. So they're all designed, yes, they're all designed with the child in mind. And also from a longevity point of view, you can get a follow-on brush head for the Baby Sonic. So you start off,
I have them.
yeah, they get used to it, and then you go to the bigger one. And funny enough, lots of people, I've actually got one because I've got very tight teeth. It's great for getting to the smaller teeth. It's very low noise level. It vibrates. It's got a 2-minute timer. So it's all these little things that are different, that probably emulate the parental products that are available, but put it into a smaller version with the child, the baby, the caregiver in mind. And that's how the whole range has evolved. And I think we're probably the only people that are specifically targeting that market. We don't do any adult toothbrushes, even though adults do use some of our products. We find autistic children find them very easy to use because they're very quiet, they're gentle, not very noisy, and also the toothpastes are non-foaming. So where some children don't like the foaming sensation in their mouth or the taste, they're formulated for delicate taste buds and palates, and they are a children's range of brushes, which even the big boys haven't got. So it's a nice area to be involved in, and a mum started it.
And the other thing that I think is incredible with Brush Baby is it's not just about selling the products, though. The whole thing with Brush Baby is the passion. It's the passion behind informing parents of the benefits of brushing teeth and why, they actually need to focus on it, rather than it just being a case of, they're the first teeth. Because at the end of the day, we brush our teeth, so why should we not brush our little one's teeth?
Yeah.
And that is the big thing that you are so adamant about, that it's informing parents of factual information and offering help and guidance as to how they can help their little ones with brushing their teeth.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the thing is as well that people have got a barrage of information coming from all different angles, and people telling them what to do, what they ought to be doing, how they should be doing it. And our ethos is to say, here's the information. This is how the reason why you need to look after children's gums and teeth is it affects their whole lifestyle. Baby teeth do matter. They're setting the foundations for the next ones coming through. Like we've discussed before, a habit is habit forming. If you start them off with a 2-minute routine when they're little diddlies, it helps through the teething stage because they're used to things going inside their mouth. It then helps with the toothbrushing aspect of 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night, make it part of the routine. What do they call it? Bath, brush, bedtime, book, bedtime. So you could have those 4 Bs. It's actually establishing that side of things and making it helpful for people to do it. We run a Smilestones Club, which helps, is essentially you insert your child's date of birth, and then you receive timely reminders that the first 2 should be coming through, the sequence they appear in, how you can look after them, foods to eat before bedtime, drinks to have before bedtime, lunchbox ideas, activity packs. It's all this stuff to help people. We're not in the the business of telling people off, because that's not the idea. If you encourage people and get them to enjoy it, we'd like to think that toothbrushing can actually be fun. I call it serious products for brushing fun. And that's how we try to get people involved, and to help them. We're not here to tell people off, it's to help people and to inform them of what's available and how you can do it. And hopefully, we have had lots of people grow up with Brush Baby. So we've got lots of children who've started out with the Chilbur toothbrush, who are now on our Wild Ones toothbrush, which is an electric rechargeable toothbrush. So it's nice and it works.
One thing I will say is a lot of the people that will be watching this are parents of younger children, so the babies that still have their feeds and things like that before bed. Now your products are always ones that I've actually recommended to them, so it's lovely saying we'll do the bath, the tip brush, then we'll do the story and then bed. But with a lot of the younger ones, especially pre-12 months, there's normally a feed involved, even older than that, and that feed might be a bottle of formula. Now we know with breastfeeding that isn't a massive issue on the teeth, because that breast milk doesn't decay the teeth. But formula, obviously, or any form of milk just before going to bed is not great to sit on the teeth, because it pools in their mouth and that sugar helps rot the teeth. So we don't want to be doing that. So one thing I've always suggested to families that I've worked with is, yes, okay, do the bath and brush the teeth in the bathroom. So you've still got part of that routine is there.
Yeah.
But what you can actually do is give them their feed, whether it be a bottle, breastfeed, whatever it might be, and then read them a story and let them chew one of your toothbrushes while you're reading the story. And this works in two ways. Firstly, we're actually brushing the teeth, which is a hugely important factor, because if they've just had milk, they need to brush their teeth. The other thing, so many parents say to me, I can't read them a story, the hands are everywhere. Well, actually, what we're doing in this situation is we're giving them something to hold. So we're taking their hands away from the book, so you can read them a story while they're brushing their teeth. And the one I've always said to people is that, the ones with the handle, it's in your starter kit. It's got the little, it's like
Chilbur toothbrush.
It's the one which is like a heart with a little toothbrush on the end, which is the bristles on the top.
Oh, the first brush and teether.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
So we've always said put the smear of toothpaste on each side and just let them chew on that while you're reading the story. Kills two birds with one stone, but you still keep the routine as it is prior. Yeah. And you just add this in as an extra, so you always get that fluoride on the teeth before they go to bed.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And also, it's interesting you're saying about breast milk. Actually, breast milk needs to be cleaned away as well, because there are natural sugars in there. Yeah. And I think if what we advocate is we've got dental wipes and teething wipes that have got xylitol within them, which neutralizes the bacteria. So you can either put the little cloth on your finger and go in around baby's gums and teeth, or the teething wipes actually a finger sleeve. And again, you can do exactly the same thing. And you could pop the little sachets in your changing bag, your pocket, your purse when you're out and about, so you can actually keep that cleansing of their gums regularly up to speed. And also it's a way of familiarizing a child that you've got the fingers in their mouth, you're going around their gums, so as when it comes to brushing their teeth later on, they're used to it. What happens, and again, it's a handy thing to have, but if you just have a clean muslin cloth that's been dipped into cooled boiled water, that will do the trick just as easy. It's all about keeping that environment bacteria free. And yes, you're right, you're going to have resistance, where you're going to have a day where they're not going to be into it, or other times when there's a great idea to actually easily distract them. We've got one lady who's a dental hygienist, and we have a 2-pack of toothbrushes, soft brush. And what she does is, while the child's looking at one brush, and while she's going in cleaning the teeth. So whatever works for you, that's what we always say, whatever works for you. But if you just try to get that routine going, so they're used to doing it. And you've got to
say to those ones that have got the independent children. I know I mentioned this briefly to you before, and I said I was going to ask, because I know there's a lot of families that are in the same boat as what I am and what most people are, with those very independent, coming up to 2 years old children. So for example, Alicia, she's 20 months now. She will point blank refuse to let me brush her teeth. We're working on it. We're getting there. We still always do the teeth after after a feed anyway, because she's still breastfed. But she will, no, I want to do it myself. And she's so adamant. But we have the issue here. Now, I'm saying this because I know I won't be on my own. There will be other parents out there that are about to hear what I'm about to say and go, oh, my child does that as well. It's not just me. So she'll have the vibrate on, because we use the travel one. So we've got it as well, which is great. So she's brushing her teeth, or attempting, as she does, messing around, turning it on and off and everything else, doing what she does. And then, while it's on vibrate, she puts it on her lady bits. And I go, no! That's at that point, it comes out. It comes out of the bath. So, and she won't be on her own with that, because it's children, they're exploring and things like that. And actually, this is a sensation that they're getting, because she's giggling away while this is happening. So you know exactly what's going on. So you go, no, stop. How do we actually encourage that independence with, yes, okay, it's lovely to be able to actually want to do this yourself and do things yourself, but actually until I think it's 7, is it, that we're supposed to really help them brush their teeth? How do we kind of still get that thing of, we are going to help you do this, but it has to be done, but I appreciate that you really do want to be independent at the same time.
Well, what I would say is it's good that she's having fun with the toothbrush, whatever way she's doing it. I think also it's interesting you're saying, okay, she's going with her lady bits, but she's actually seeing what the sensation's like. So she's probably saying to herself, it feels like that on my skin or my lady bits. That's how it must feel in my mouth. It's all about exploring. It's all about learning. If you think of, I'm always fascinated by babies, even when they're first born, the grip they've got. And you think, my goodness me, you've just been in this world a couple of days, and yet their grip is amazing. So it's all about exploring. It's all about discovering new things, sensations, and also they're looking after their own welfare, thinking, well, what's she putting into my mouth? I want to see what it feels like. Children are independent, and they gain independence so much more quickly than I think we probably ever did. I also think as well that they like copying people. So a bit like, and that's why our electric toothbrushes are so popular, because I want a toothbrush like mummy and daddy. They've got, the advanced toothbrush, mummy and daddy. I want to be like mummy and daddy. So a lot of the times we say to parents and caregivers, get them to copy you, brush your teeth at the same time. So if you're saying, right, we're doing the back now, no, you don't move on. And they want to be a big girl. They want to be like mummy and daddy. So they're copying you. If they're little diddlies, you can obviously do similar to the lady who's used the toothbrushes, use one on the child and one on yourself. But when they're getting a bit older, say, right, 30 seconds, you can use a timer, an egg timer. You can watch the big hand on the clock go round. Our electric toothbrushes have 2-minute timers built into them, and they pulse every 30 seconds, which means you move on to the next part of your mouth. Divide it into 4. So they're learning about counting, make a story up, use a song. There's lots of apps out there nowadays that you can use that play a favorite song. Now it's time to move on. It's all about familiarization. I think sometimes we get hung up on the 2 minutes thing. Yes, it's ideal that you do 2 minutes. It's ideal that, our toothbrushes, they vibrate as opposed to brush the teeth. It might be, not brush the teeth, but it might be too painful for them, or the emerging teeth. It's all about familiarization, routine, building into a habit so that when they are older, they do then know about the 2 minutes. They know that mummy and daddy do their teeth for 2 minutes. So it's perseverance, but it's also
realism,
understanding. And I think the most important word is routine, because there might be times when you go into the bathroom, they're point blank not going to do anything. Try and get some toothpaste into their mouth so it settles around their gums. Tomorrow's another day.
The thing
they know why they're in there.
Teeth, you're not going to spend 2 minutes brushing 6 teeth. So again, it's weighing it up, actually. Realistically, what are we actually needing to actually do when we get in there?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that we get hung up on things. Well, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. And there's lots of woulda, coulda, shouldas. But I think as long as you, and if you set good practice, I always think that the copying thing is good, because they want to be a big girl or a big boy. They want to be like mummy and daddy.
We have this with her sister. So when they're both in the bath together, but the thing is, at this point, then Alicia doesn't want to use her toothbrush. She wants Sophia's toothbrush. So
Yeah.
Sophia will let me brush her teeth because she's 5. So I'm very conscious of the fact that actually she still needs to have her teeth brushed pretty much by me. I'll let her do it once a day and I'll do it the other time. So that way, you know, at least it does get done properly. And I'll always do hers at bedtime. And I'll be brushing her teeth. And then I've got to go and brush Alicia's teeth with Sophia's electric toothbrush because she doesn't want hers, she wants Sophia's. You know, so, she'll kind of do that. But then I go, well, this toothbrush isn't really made for you. So toothpaste isn't for you.
Yeah, and I think as well that we know your own children. It's as in they want to be different, or they're a big girl, or they you know, they revert to wanting to be the baby again. Rewarding is very good. We do toothbrushing charts of all the dates, the days on there. We give people little stickers. We include those with our when we send out our toothbrushes. So if they've done the 2 minutes, if they've been a good girl or a good boy, and they've done it morning and evening, then you give the tick. So I think a bit like everything else that we do throughout childhood, or you've been a good girl, you've been a good boy, you follow that through, then you give them the tick, you give them the sticker. So it's, you know, reward and recognition for what they're trying to do. And also they're making an effort. It's like we're adults, we do exactly the same thing. We think, well, I must do such and such, but we don't do it. I think it's the key is the routine. So even if they go into the bathroom and they say point blank, they're not going to brush their teeth, get some toothpaste in there, and tomorrow's another day.
As well to sort of not trick them, but sort of trick them. So, for example, Sophia at the moment, she's had 2 bottom teeth gone. She's on a top one at the moment. It's a bit wobbly. And she gets to the point where she's not bothered about me brushing it. And she says, it's going to come out anyway. And I'm like, but then the fairy won't want it.
Yes.
The tooth fairy only wants nice, shiny, sparkly teeth to go on her piano. If your teeth are all rotten, I said, the fairy's not going to want them.
Yeah.
Oh, better brush my teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like you say, it's finding those different ways to do it. I mean, it's a bit like one of the things that baby teeth is used for a stem cell treatment, but you can only use undecayed teeth for stem cell treatment. So that's an interesting thing to know. Also, that I've lost my words now. It's just finding your own way, and I think that you can, I'd like to think that Brush Baby do that. We provide the information, we provide the tools, provide a choice. I mean, our first toothbrushes, you've got a soft brush, a chewable toothbrush, a first brush, you've got a first floss brush, you've got an electric brush. There's 5 different brushes there. There must be something amongst that that's suitable for your little one. Absolutely. So there's parental choice there, and obviously children's choice. Our toothpastes are non-foaming, so they're easy to put into a child's mouth. They're non-foaming. They're paraben free. They're vegan friendly. With fluoride ones, non-fluoride. It's just finding what suits you, and then sometimes sticking with it because people don't move or they want a different flavored toothpaste. So it's what we'd like to do is like to think that we're helping people and offering choice that I don't think any other companies actually got out there, and persevering, because it's like most things.
Can you, before we finish, can you do me a quick myth busting on teething?
Yes, it's very interesting. Teething, everybody associates teething with pain. And in fact, the reason, and it's probably a bit of a difficult thing to say, teething is caused by bacteria buildup. It's not by the tooth piercing, cutting through. These sorts of words are actually quite harmful, because what happens is that the gums recede and open up and the tooth pops through. So there's nothing piercing the skin, there's nothing cutting through. It's all the microscopic bacteria building up and collecting around the gum flaps, which then infects and inflames the area. So it's a bit difficult to say, but it's actually having a really good cleaning habit, which is why we advocate looking after little ones' gums from birth, because you're thinking, well, there's nothing in there, but the teeth are on the gums. They've been formed in the womb. They're waiting to come through. So if you familiarize a little one having their mouth cleaned after a formula feed or a breast milk feed, because there are sugars in the milks that they don't pool around those areas, you're actually starting a routine. You're starting a practice about cleaning gums. You're familiarizing a child with having their oral cavity investigated. You're cleaning the palate, the side of the cheeks, cleaning the mouth. And if you think about it, how do you feel when you brush your teeth? You feel great. So what I always laugh about is the fact there's all these different, you think of baby wipes. I've just used one to clean my computer screen. We clean babies' bottoms. We don't clean their gums. And you just think, hang on a sec. And if you go back to personal experience, if you feel rough, if you feel ill, if you brush your teeth, you think, oh, I feel better now straight away. So little diddly ones feel exactly the same too. So it's all about looking after those gums to begin with in order to help teething later on. So really, there might be some discomfort because it's obviously new, it's emerging, but really there shouldn't be much pain at all. So I think it
might be occasionally if there's a bit of inflammation or something like that. And the cake can, sometimes if there's is of inflammation, there can be a little bit of a temperature, but it's actually rare. I think one of the big things that I've found over the years with this is that risk of over medicating unnecessarily because they're teething. Like I said to you earlier on when we were talking, I thought Sophia was teething for the first 8.5 months of her life from birth, all because she didn't sleep, because I didn't have the correct information. And every time I went to the GP or to the health visitor, they all told me she must be teething. Well, she had her first tooth till 5 months, so she can't have been teething for that long.
I know.
And look at Alicia. We knew when a tooth was coming through because her sleep would generally go bad for a night, maybe 2-ish. A tooth would appear, and that was pretty much it.
Right.
But yet, without having that knowledge and that understanding of what teething is.
Yeah, and I think teething gets a bad press because it's actually quite an exciting time. The first tooth coming through, you see the little thing and they're there and they've got the little gummy smile. And funny enough, I think teething gels are now an over-the-counter remedy. So whereas beforehand you could go to the shelf and pick something up, you have to now go to the pharmacist and have it and speak to them in order to do it. So that's why going back to one of our toothpaste, the teething toothpaste, has actually got chamomile within it. So it's soothing teething gums. And you can put it in the fridge. You can smear it on the chewable toothbrush. So again, they're cleaning their teeth and their gums at the same time, and it's actually soothing that area. And like you say, it doesn't have. It is not going to be painful. It's different because it's a new sensation. There might be some slight discomfort, but people put things. They've got drooling, diarrhea. Fractious child, fever, and you're just thinking, cool, teething's getting a bit of a bad press here.
Funnily enough, teething is so bad, they get really bad wind at 6 months when that tooth's coming through. What else happens at 6 months? Oh, you start weaning. So why could they have bad gas?
Yeah, exactly.
Their digestive system's actually doing something.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, I think during the pandemic where it's been difficult for family contact, social contact, health visitors. I mean, I don't know if they even see health visitors anymore. One of my colleagues at work said that her friend took her baby along to a weighing station. She didn't even see anybody. And you're just thinking, where's that information coming from? I mean, there is, I think in the little red book, I think it's called the personal health record now, isn't it? There's one little tick box, which has only been on there in recent years, where it's ticked that somebody's spoken about oral care. But probably somebody would just say, well, look after their teeth when they come through. And that's why, going back to the Smilestones Club on our website, if you go there, there's parenting tips, there's different hacks that people have used, there's advice as to, there's a picture of the teeth and when they're expected to come through. These come through first. And I also think it's important that people don't feel alone. Yes. Everybody's going to be teething. Every child and every parent's going to go through it. But it doesn't have to be a painful process, and it should actually be a really exciting time. The first tooth coming through, and you got like the little old man, they've got one tooth. It's new and it's novel, so it's a shame that it does get a bad press because it doesn't need to. And
we talk to all the baby groups, I think, and every Facebook group you go in, the explanation behind why things are the way they are, why they don't sleep, everything comes down to teething.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't have to be that way.
And I also think as well,
there's information that's going to help.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit like life, isn't it? Sometimes you have a really good night's sleep and sometimes you don't. Well, I think sometimes babies are the same. It's a bit like if they've had lots of activity, they just conk out. And then it's like yourself as well. Sometimes your mind is racing, so I can't switch my mind off. So I think it's important to be kind to yourself, to be armed with the information, to realize you're not alone, that there's other people out there that feel and experiencing exactly the same things as you, and just to do your best and do the simple things. We know it's 2 minutes, but it might not be for one night. It's important to keep the gums clean. You could buy one of our dental whites, but you can keep it clean yourself. Brushing their teeth, they might not like the taste of the toothpaste, find one that they do like. So I think a lot of it's trial and error, and I think it's just keeping practicing every day, and I think routine is the word.
Absolutely. So where can people buy your products then? Where can people go to find all this information out? If
you go to brushbaby.com, and you can sign up to it. It's a free to join Smilestones Club. If you put your child's date of birth in, it will send you timely reminders of what should be happening, what to expect, and how to look after them. And then the website is quite simple. It's laid out with first teeth, teething, older children's teeth. It's quite easy to shop. And because it's all things to do with teeth, it's just really easy, because there's nothing else to complicate the issue. It's different things, like you were saying about bedtime routines. Sometimes eat cheese, eat an apple in order to clean the teeth. You might not have to use a toothpaste. It's all those things. And also people have, given back helpful information. Similar to the lady who used two toothbrushes at the same time, copying children, copying mummy and daddy. Autistic children and children with special needs have found our toothbrushes easy to use, and it's people sharing their experiences, which is a great thing, because that's when you don't feel alone. And it's not just Brush Baby saying our products work, it's saying somebody saying this worked for me, and this is the reason why. And we'd like to think that we're obviously selling products, but it's to help people,
making a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And also I think it's important in this day and age to inform people, as many people as possible, parents, lots of dental hygienists and dental therapists use our website and use our resources, our information, and it's just getting the message out there. So that's key to us. And we can help you with the product side of things as well, because they're specifically for children.
And they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, and
Instagram. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have lots of UGC content on our Instagram, where lots of our people have been using the toothbrushes. The little kiddies have been using the toothbrushes. So as you get it firsthand from somebody else, not just us saying it. And we're more than happy to help with activity sheets, stickers, reward charts, anything that helps with teeth.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. I hope everyone's found this really informative, because I know I have. I've got some really good ideas of things I can actually try as well with Alicia. But yeah, have a look over there. Don't neglect your little one's teeth. I know it's hard. I know it's easy just to, especially when you've got other children, I know it's easy just to kind of bypass it sometimes, especially for an easy life. But do you know what? Even if it's 30 seconds is better than nothing at all.
Exactly.
And it's that trying, and it's that routine.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Marion, for coming on and talking to me.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. All things teeth.
Absolutely, all things teeth. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.